Traditional cooking is losing its charm because of its time-consuming and laborious process. To fill the gap, a homegrown brand called On2Cook has revolutionized cooking industry by introducing fastest cooking device. Hello everyone, this is Prachi Tiwari for SME Futures, and today we are interacting with the founder and the CEO Sanandan Sudhir of On2Cook to know what inspired him to innovate the future of cooking. So we'll start with the first question, Mr. Sanandan. Talk
Mhm.
about yourself and your journey as an entrepreneur.
Well, I belong to a business family. Um, our family is based in Jalandhar. I wanted to do something innovative right from my childhood. But I did product design from NIT. After that, I joined GE Healthcare. And there I realized that perhaps whatever we learn in our education is not sufficient to really start a business and create something really inventive or innovative. You can do a trading business as we used to do as a family business. But if you have to create something new as a product, you need to learn a lot. So I decided to continue working with GE for about 10 years. I worked in their Milwaukee office. I worked with their French team. I helped hire some people in China. I worked with the Japanese team. And I was heading the design studio in the John F. Lewis Technology Center in Bangalore. I helped develop about 35 different medical products there. And in that process, I actually learned how to initiate an idea, and from an idea, how to take it to production. That was the main learning.
Great, sir. So, can you briefly explain about On2Cook brand and what it means to you, and what was that inspiration that you wanted to start On2Cook?
The first thing that I remember getting up was the sound of utensils, because my mom would get up early at 5 o'clock, she would start cooking, and then by 7 o'clock we all had to leave. So she would have cooked the food by then, she had to take baths, she had to take care of us, 2 children, and my dad. So everybody's food was to be prepared, and we were supposed to be dressed and so on. And so I could see that hardship in the early childhood. That is a lot of effort for a mom or for a sister or for anybody actually who is cooking at home. And that has always bothered me because I went to US, I've seen other families, other ways of cooking. People are relaxed, they'll get something, they'll just reheat it, eat it, and so on. After that, when I joined GE Healthcare, after doing post-graduation in design from the National Institute of Design, that was my first job and I was a workaholic. So I would go back home at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the night with actually having nothing to eat, because at that time there was no Swiggies and Zomatos of the world. So all what I had to do was cook myself. And I was not a great cook, as my mom cooked all the while when I was at home. So I bought a microwave. I thought this is going to change my life, because at that time they were just launched. You had a booklet with 300 recipes. People said, wow, boss, this is going to change the whole world. You never would need a gas chulha or an induction stove. Induction stoves were also not very popular at that time. Eventually, when I bought the kitchen stove, I realized that though in the microwave I could keep the crunch of the vegetables, the color would remain, the flavor would remain, because you're just cooking by exciting the water molecules. And you could never make any masala. Here, as soon as you make the masala on the gas and you make, let's say, cabbage or cauliflower, the vegetable would shrink and it will become 1/3 the size. And it would lose everything. The texture is not there, the structure is not there, the color is not there, it looks like halwa. So then I thought that maybe if the microwave way is not the right way of cooking, then definitely the stove way is also not the right way of cooking, because I'm not enjoying it anymore. So I thought for some time, and then eventually started partially cooking vegetables in the microwave. So you cut them, you put them in the microwave, you cut your onions and tomatoes, make your gravy in the pan, and then take the vegetables out from their mix so that they're partially cooked. Now, only in 5 minutes of sauteing, I will get something which is healthier, which I enjoyed eating. And I developed that habit because I was using microwaves. So while working with GE, I went to GE Plastics, because in the John F. Lewis Technology Center, we had GE Plastics also, and other GE businesses also. It was the R&D center. Requested them to maybe make a product like this, but GE is a white elephant. It was very difficult to move things there. The project has to be sanctioned from US, and they could not understand the need of a product to combine masala cooking along with my fingers. That was the reason why I actually quit that company. And then eventually, with the thought that I had to start this someday, kept venturing, learning, and so on.
Great. All the best. So, what is the
Thank you.
USP of your product, and briefly explain the features of your product?
The product at present has induction at the bottom, microwaves from the top lid. Microwaves cook the vegetables inside out. Induction makes it brown and tasty from outside. The simultaneous cooking does not need water, so you don't lose on water-soluble minerals and vitamins. You cut down the time to 1/3. You save 50% energy. You retain the water-soluble nutrients and minerals. And what you get to eat is tastier than food cooked by any other prevalent known method. The chicken, if you eat, it is soft, it is tender, it retains moisture because I am not boiling it for half an hour. Vegetables that you eat, you have not boiled them for 15 minutes, so they have retained everything that was necessary. So the crunch is there, the color is there, the texture is there, the flavor is there of the inherent vegetables and the chickens and everything else that you want to cook.
So, who is your target audience, and how are the consumers and industry responding to this product?
For this answer, let me focus on B2B, because our strategy is that you test B2B and then eventually you sell B2C. So B2B today is our main customer, but maybe 3 years from now, it'll be 20%, 80% will be B2C. Now, B2B is small restaurants, QSRs, cloud kitchens. Most of the customers that we have are enterprise customers. So, for example, Food on Wheel, they are a cloud kitchen. They want to make another 15 cloud kitchens. So they are envisioning that they'll have 6 of our devices with 2 people, 3 people working with those devices, and half the space that they have at present, reduce the cost by about $1 lakh per month, and become more profitable and multiply. And we're pretty sure that we have a lot of customers at present who are looking for 200 units, 400 units, depending upon 200 outlets that they have, or 100 outlets that they have, and so on.
So, what were the major challenges you faced while developing On2Cook, and how did you overcome it?
So there are 2 categories of challenges in this. First, when you're trying to do something very innovative or inventive in our country, people have a doubt. People are always looking for conformity around. So if somebody else is selling that, people say, okay, he's making money, you do this and you'll also make money. So what kept me going in all these situations is that I don't let go. So I would just keep telling myself that I can't let go, because I have something very interesting which I strongly believe is going to change the way people cook. So I would not let go. So I think that is one reason how I could sustain. This is more internal, on the basis of generic feelings that I get from people around. Second part was financial. We are not a country known for funding hardware projects. I am very grateful to actually the Sai family office in Mumbai who actually invested in this product. I would say they are also visionaries. I have not found many people in India who would look at a hardware idea and say, okay, yes, I'm going to put in 16 crores, I'm going to put in 20 crores in this, which is pre-revenue, but the product is not manufactured yet. There is no market validation yet, and so on. So I think finding the right people by chance, by luck, by mentorship, I think was also a great thing that helped.
So, what is the trend you're seeing in the cooking industry? Throw some light there.
It's increasing day by day. The production of food also is increasing proportionately day by day. Manpower is becoming more and more expensive day by day. So what that means is that you eventually have to produce more food using more raw materials with lesser manpower. So the indirect trend at the back is that one person should be able to cook more. And eventually, of course, if the robotics, AI is coming in a big way, we are also exploring artificial intelligence to have automated recipes, which means you pick up any recipe from anywhere in the world and it'll get customized to On2Cook automatically. But there is time for that. We need about 2 years to reach that stage. But essentially, the future is where artificial intelligence assisted recipes will get automatically cooked with the help of robots worldwide. As far as India is concerned, we would be in an intermediary stage where human intervention and machines, there will be a balance between the two, and both of them will work together.
So, your invention created quite some noise at the first edition of Shark Tank. How was your experience, and how did Shark Tank help you in your building career and as a on to cook?
Most people are skeptical, thinking, "Oh, these are all rigged shows. It's all pre-planned. They know everything." And to my surprise, I realized that it was not so. The judges had no clue what they are going to see. Okay, and I can say that with confidence, because of all the 7 judges, nobody knew how to cook. So if I would say I can make chicken in 7 minutes, they would be looking at each other's faces. Okay, bhai, otherwise kitna time lagta hai, right? So they are from backgrounds where I think they have gotten lesser opportunity to get into the kitchen and understand how much it costs to cook and how much time it takes to cook. One of the judges I would name, but actually came to me and asked, "Hey, bhai, ye induction kya hota?" So the journey was fun, and after that, thanks to Sony TV and thanks to Shark Tank, I have a lot of people who know On2Cook. This will really facilitate the sales and the business in the long run.
So, what is the road ahead of for On2Cook and yourself as an inventor?
A unicorn in the making for the next 5 years. That's my full focus. 100 distributors, 100 countries is the plan. 5 years, 50 countries. Net plan is 100 distributors, 100 countries. And try and innovate as much as possible before somebody from China copies and starts becoming a competitor. You can't stop them. Even if you have the patents in the organized world, the rest of the countries, they are going to sell.
What are your success tips for young and aspiring entrepreneurs?
You can't let go. Lage raho. You need to have the right market fit. You need to have that gut feel that whatever I'm thinking will work. Until the time it doesn't work, you can't let go. That's it.
Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Sanandan. It was great talking to you and sharing your inspiration with us and inspiring many lives.
Thanks a lot.